Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is BronzeLeagueGaming bringing you another Starcraft 2 replay. Let's go ahead and get into this. Whoa, slow it down just a bit there. Doing some audio balancing there, and I forgot to slow it back down. So, obviously, you can tell this game has been sent in by FadeEvan here, and he's playing the red Zerg player on the bottom right corner. His opponent today is cruxTempest as the green Tempest. cruxTempest is the green Protoss in the top right corner of Tal'Darim Altar, I do believe. Pretty sure that's what this one is. Do have that first pylon going down for Crux. Overlord is on the way out. Hasn't really made any kind of tech commitment yet for Evan here. Evan usually plays Terran though. Huh. Good little conversation bleep right there. Anyway, Overlords are on the way out, and it looks like this guy will be heading in the proper direction. But the probe is in Evan's base now, is going to be scouting this out. And does find out what he's up to. He hasn't made a tech choice, and he didn't really stay around long enough to figure out what was going on. But he may try something tricky like cannon rushing here. We do see that forge going down first for Crux here in the top right corner. Maybe just be forming a wall off, but he can clearly tell there's no pool down yet. So he's obviously going for an early expansion at this point. There we do see the hatchery drop and start ahead. Probe does go ahead and decide to get out of there. Not going to do any kind of aggressive tactics here at the start of the game. Looks like we got a side conversation going on, maybe in a channel or something that Evan was in before he left. But do see the extractor and the spawning pool down now. Extractor is immediately filled up. Nice little timing right there. But they just can't seem to finish the drive this probe from his base. Do have an expansion going down for Crux as well, so we do see the Protoss player going to try and stay on par with the number of bases that the Zerg player is taking today. Crux isn't grabbing any upgrades as of yet. He hasn't even started mining gas, so if there's a 4-gate, it's going to be pretty late at this point. Do have a double pylon, which actually is really smart in my opinion, because it just doesn't make sense for me to power this whole wall, which are pretty much your primary production buildings, with one pylon. If he somehow manages to kill that off, then you're in a world of hurt real quick. This expansion has finished for Evan here. We have a drone out scouting around, just checking this base, looks like he's checking up here as well. Even though he does know that the Crux is over in this corner, he just wants to make sure that nothing fishy is going on. Make sure there's no hidden expansions or 3-base play against his 2. Do have that queen on the way out, as well as 2 queens on the way out, as well as metabolic boost is about 40%, 50% done now. Do see saturation starting to happen with the Evans natural here, and I wish Digby would, kind of cool it down here, because I'm trying to cast a game. Thanks. You have a cannon up at the front wall. Is going to provide some static defense here at the front, as well as detection, so it's going to make it that much harder to sneak anything into the base. Now that doesn't really keep Evan from sneaking stuff around the back either, but it just makes this front wall that much harder to take. And it's a good thing he built that cannon too, because as of right now, this wall is not done, and it kind of may be in trouble. He could actually probably spend 1 or 2 of the Zerglings to attack that Cybernetics core and keep it out of range of that cannon. But we do have a 3rd base going down for Evan here at the, not really the 2nd expansion, more the 3rd expansion spot. So kind of almost hidden, but not really. Do see droning up happening here in the main though. Only a handful of Zerglings. Don't know what happened to that. Oh, grabbing the watchtower. 3 Zerglings here sitting at the front of the base, just kind of far back. He's not going to be able to tell when exactly Crux decides to move out, but he is moving them into position there now. Still kind of testing the waters. Very good spot to grab. If this doesn't shoo him away pretty quickly. They are on hold position. There you go. Evan manages to grab those Zerglings, and looks like he's going to go ahead and run them around for a little bit. This Overlord needs to get out of the way pretty soon, though. That sentry will not be very healthy for that Overlord. Do have the Zerglings grabbing this northern watchtower, and this Overlord looks like it is going down. I sure hope Evan knows for that and has accounted for that in his food supply. It would be terrible to get blocked, the supply cap, this early in the game. Very nice saturation going back down here at the natural and main here, vice versa, the natural and main here. Do have a Roach Warren on the way out as well. Do see tech choice kind of developing here now. Do have a Twilight Council as the primary tech choice of Crux here. I'm not sure if he's going Blink Stalkers, Charge Lots, or teching up to High Templar at this point, though. Is grabbing that level 1 armor upgrade, though. He is grabbing a robotics bay as well. He's already grabbing 4 gates. He's being very aggressive. I don't know. Now, I don't play Protoss hardly at all, so I don't know if this is viable off 2 bases. I understand it is. This mineral line is oversaturated, though. This one's a little undersaturated. Do have a large sentry force beginning to push out. Against Zerglings, this is great, but if they run into anything a little tougher, such as roaches or hydralisks, they're going to be kind of in trouble. We do see Charge being developed at the Twilight Council, so it looks like he's going for the sentries as kind of crowd control, and he's going to go ahead and use the Zealots as DPS units. We're seeing actually really nice creep sped by Evan. He's doing actually a really good job for playing his off race here. As I said, he normally plays Terran. We do see a couple of roaches now on the board, an extra queen, and some spine crawlers. Looks like he was afraid of Crux pushing out and didn't have the appropriate defenses for it at that point. But that many spine crawlers will be pretty effective at stopping sentries and zealots, at least in that number. Do have the hole in the frontal wall, so he's not too concerned with something running in all of a sudden. I would actually be still fairly worried about Zergling run-bys. If he can get a couple of Zerglings in the mineral line, they can cause a whole mess of havoc. Do have some Immortals on the way out too. So, Sentry, Zealot, and Immortal. Well, unless Evan goes air, will be a very good unit composition. If it doesn't go air, I would have to say it's going to be fairly weak. But we do see the Hydralisk, or the Zerg missile ranged upgrade coming down. Missile attacks on the way out from this evolution chamber. Roach regeneration is on the way out as well. We do see, so after that first Immortal, we're going to start seeing some Colossi. Where did that Immortal go? Yep, there it is. Alright. So no level 2 armor is now on the way out. Kind of weird that it still says level 1 right there, but hey, whatever. And looks like we have something going on. Evan did manage to grab the Overlord movement upgrade. He's grabbing a lot of upgrades. Gonna look like he's gonna grab some ventral sacks as well as the Hydralisk ranged upgrade. I wasn't even aware that he had a Hydralisk den, but there it is. Here at the second expansion. Do have a large amount of Zerglings running by, and he's actually running. Where did his forces go? Shoot. Oh, there they are. Do see a probe split, and this is going to be just in time to be hit by those Zerglings if they move in right now. But they are, there they go. And this could be a bit of a problem for Evan. There's a lot of roaches there, and they are on creep though. which will give him quite an advantage. But we do have a lot of Zergling harassment going out here. May actually shut a couple of these Zealots down before they actually even warp in. He's losing a lot of probes, though. Does lose one Zealot, two Zealots, and there we see the rest of the forces are starting to arrive. So 3 Zerglings managed to pull away out of that. He did lose a number of Zerglings, but Crux lost a lot of probes and actually had to retreat from an attack, which basically displayed his entire hand, what he had and what he was going for. This observer here will be kind of nasty for continual creep spread. Very good placement, though. A couple more creep tumors spreading out to the 11 o'clock position as opposed to straight north. Not a very good spot to hide the army, considering it's right there inside of Crux's vision. Looks like, oh my goodness, interesting wall off. He's going to go ahead and build 4 more gateways and just seal off this side of the map. Actually, not too bad of a decision, but this whole base is only mining gas, so Evan's not doing a very good job of managing his minerals at this point. He's really spent on gas, but he's kind of floating there. Never mind. I'll change my mind because he just spent like some 1,500 minerals. And we do see some corruptors coming into play. Now he's got to be very careful about not overextending on corruptors, because at this point we only have a couple of colossi. And here come the... Ooh, and there's the range on the Colossus. It's going to be a very interesting battle. I don't think he wants to continue to engage there. He lost about 6 roaches right there, and he's almost about to get pincered. Not a good engagement for Evan at that point. Good choice trying to attack a natural, trying to shut down some of your opponent's economic abilities, but with all these units now streaming straight towards Evan's base, and the sudden loss of all those roaches, it's going to make this fight pretty hard to defend. Now once again, they are on creep, which is going to kind of give the advantage to the Zerg, but there's a good composition in there. We do have some corruptors out for Evan. Looks like he's trying to spread his troops to nullify some of that Colossi damage. Corruptors go ahead and swing in. Looks like Evan is forced to pull back. His force field is actually blocking a lot of the Zealots out. The Zealots get taken down pretty quickly. There go the Colossi. You have a couple, that Immortal still in the back doing a lot of damage. And the hardened shields are gone, so if they can finish that guy off real quick, it'll be a heavy loss. There goes the Immortal. So pretty bad turnaround for Crux there. He got completely overwhelmed by Evan in that battle. Also, Evan did really nice micro right before the engagement happened, and managed to spread his forces out, which put him in kind of a concave position superior to his opponents. Very excellent tactics, I gotta admit, and extremely fine mouse work, I gotta say. You have a bunch of High Templar out in the field now. No Psionic Storm has been researched yet, though. So we're looking at feedbacks and Immortals at this point. A couple more Colossi, Zealots, and there's the Psionic Storm research. I guess I should have looked at the production tab before I opened my mouth. Got Zerg armor upgrade, but we do have another engagement. At this time, Evan is forced to retreat. There are too many units of too much variable composition to be handled safely with just roaches and corruptors. But Storm is only about 15 seconds from being finished, and he's being very gutsy with these units here. The corruptors are a pretty significant investment, even if they only have a very specific role. So he's got to use those corruptors very carefully. If you manage to pick off a Colossus, then it's totally worth it. But we're going to continue to see warp-ins. We've seen a bunch of Zealots warp-in, which is actually not the best against roaches or Hydralisks. Very interesting choice, but he did have a lot. Well, he should have been able to warp in anything he wanted. Choosing to engage kind of at a choke, and they are off creep, so these units are going to get run down pretty quickly. Those corruptors are hightailing it out of there right when they could have hovered here and sniped around the Colossus as the Colossus moved around. But, you know, playing it safe, nothing wrong with that. Do have this creep tumor here still right on the doorstep of Crux's base. I really got to commend Evan for that. We do have kind of a gap here, but it's not that big, and it's not that big of a deal. This is right on Crux's doorstep, though. He's got creep spread on about a third of the map now. He's really doing a good job with that. He's going off of 3 bases, but so is his opponent. We're seeing Evan stockpile a ton of minerals. He's staying fairly low on gas, spending that pretty well, but his minerals are just skyrocketing at this point. He's got to find some sort of dump for them, or expand again and get some higher potent units. We do have some infestors now on the play, so we do have both players have casters on the field, so it's going to be interesting to see whether we're going to see fungal growth or storms at this point. Looks like another observer is out, going to go ahead and snap away those creep tumors. Going to force some of that creep back, and it's a small thing, but it does change the tide of battle against the Zerg. We have another gateway out. Six gateways. Well, he did lose 2, so I guess that's understandable. A large force here. It's moving pretty well too. Looks like they're just dancing around the edges of the creep here. They don't really want to engage, but we got broodlords on the field. That's going to be very hard for these units to deal with. Almost lost a stalker there. 6 health left on that stalker. That was close. So I think with the introduction of broodlords, Crux here is going to have to change his, or Tempest, Crux, I don't know. I'm going to continue to call him Crux. Look, Crux is going to have to change tactics here pretty quickly. His army composition is just not designed to deal with broodlords at this point. The only hope he has is blink stalkers, and they do have blink, but they are too busy trying to defend the what are these called? The Colossi from the Corruptors. Do have a couple storms going down. They're being very effective too. But all the Corruptors, all these broodlords are pretty low health, but they're doing quite a bit of damage. We're seeing a ton of there's the blink retreat. Do have a ton of infestors here. The rest of the Corruptors look like they're morphing into broodlords. These guys are in trouble. Does lose an infestor right there. He's got to do something to get those stalkers to back off. He's going to lose a lot of money right there. But he's got so many broodlords. That Colossi is going down. And once that Colossi is down, a lot of the non-existing ground forces, I guess. He does have a ton of Zerglings. But looks like we're going to go see some corner sniping here. He's going to go ahead and press into the side of the base where his opponent can't really retaliate. He's got to get those Zerglings moved in. Excellent surround, and the offensive blink is really going to come back and hurt Crux at this point. There we see another offensive blink. Looks like he's determined to bring these broodlords down, and he's doing a good job at this point. We do have Void Rays on the field now. Evan did choose to sacrifice all of his Corruptors, turning them into broodlords, which is really no good anymore. We do have some Corruptor reinforcements now. Gonna go ahead and push the Void Rays back, focus things down, and maybe focus that one down, but it's pretty far in the base. There isn't a lot defending it though. I have a lot of Zerglings and Roaches here with that single broodlord with only 30 health. He's got to be very careful protecting that thing. Go ahead and continue the assault though. Going to go ahead and take out some corner pylons. Wait for the forces to swing around and engage. The Zerglings are just getting destroyed by those zealots. But there goes that pylon. So I guess he achieved his objective in killing that pylon. But it was pretty heavy investment. He did whittle away quite a bit of Crux's forces. Both players are kind of back on their heels, trying to revamp really quickly. Do have Archons on the field now. That's going to be pretty dangerous, as they're both massive and psionic units. I don't know if they can be mind controlled. No, they've got to be be able to be mind controlled. That doesn't make any sense. I'll shut up. All along that line of reasoning, because it makes absolutely no sense. Do have another massive engagement moving down. The Colossi don't have a whole. They have a couple Void Rays here in the back, but they're getting, the Corruptors are getting focused down pretty quickly. Seeing a ton of Roaches though. The rest of the Archons are going, or Templar are moving in. Oh, Crux calls GG from this massive force of Roaches, and decides he's not willing to fight it out to the end. Shoot. Kind of startled me that it ended so suddenly, but I'm really impressed by Evan's handling his off race so well. He did a really good job with this. I think these Void Rays could have continued to do a lot of damage, so I think it was a little premature. But Evan did a really good job continuing to evolve and change his army composition. A lot of the games I see from Zerg players, it tends to stick to one or two units, regardless of what they may be. Roach Hydra, Ling Muta. Hardly ever do I see a game with such variance inside of it. Even the Protoss Stalker, Immortal or Zealot Stalker, you know, but this game we saw Void Rays, we saw Archons, High Templar, Hydralisks, Brood Lords. Pretty much the only things we didn't see were carriers, motherships, and Ultralisks, I have a feeling. Oh, and Dark Templar. But we saw Infestors. We had just all sorts of good shenanigans going on all over the place. Really got to hand it to Evan for managing to take the win. I still think there could have been a bit of a fight to fight out, but this definitely was falling into Evan's favor farther and farther pretty quickly. He had such a high stockpile of resources, it wouldn't have hurt him a whole lot to resupply completely. Did have some harassment over here that I missed. Sorry about that, guys. And he was looking to take another base, so again, I think it's a little premature of an end, but Crux decided to tap out, call it a game, so Evan takes a win. Good job, Evan. Thank you for sending us the replay. I really appreciate being able to cast it for you. I'm Phobos with BronzeLeagueGaming. If you have ideas, suggestions, comments, or a game of yourself that you want us to cast, send it to BronzeLeaguePerspective@hotmail.com. Again, that's BronzeLeaguePerspective@hotmail.com. We have a Facebook. I have a personal Twitter. Facebook, search for us, Bronze League Perspective, and you'll pull us up. Like us, follow us, do whatever. We try and stay in touch. Right now, I'm pretty much the only one doing anything with the channel, but hopefully that'll change soon. And even my schedule is pretty busy, so I'm hoping to free up some time soon, get better involved with what I'm trying to do here. And my Twitter, Phobos172. Follow me on Twitter. I'm gonna start trying to do some live casts. Haven't had a whole lot of experience streaming. I'm looking to pick up XSplit, so the hardware the software won't be an issue. But cross your fingers. Also, the reason I mention that is I will be posting on Twitter whenever I'm about to live stream. Now, it won't always be Starcraft. Pretty much any new game I pull out of the box, I'll be trying to stream. But I would really look forward to doing some of these replay casts live, or not live, but live stream, and have people commentate or comment and offer valuable feedback as I'm doing them. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough, so once again, I'm Phobos, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in.